about the MUSA project, the overall MUSA project, and the main, I will give you an overview of the MUSA project, and then our colleagues will go into the details of different dimensions, different aspects of this project. I will then leave the floor for questions, and I will invite my colleagues to answer the questions, and that's it. So let me start with the presentation that which I will introduce this session. The MUSA project was started as Giovanna Iannantoni and all the colleagues who have talked during the first part of this session, they have already mentioned different aspects, different dimensions of the MUSA project, actually. Why we started with this project? We started with this project because smart cities are complex systems, and as complex systems, as all complex systems, they have benefits, they generate value, but also generate problems. So negative externalities and positive externalities are the result of rapid growth, economic, technological growth, and as a result of the attraction of people and activities, economic activities, to the region and the metropolitan area in particular. So we started from this set of negative and positive externalities with the aim of generating opportunities to improve, to build on the benefits and opportunities, and on the one hand, on the other hand, to tackle some of the most important drawbacks arising from the growth and the dissemination of activities. Our vision is that of smart cities as innovation ecosystems, so different actors, different players. We started by leveraging the different dimensions and different institutions already active in the area. So the question is, what can we do to build on what we already got from the innovation, from university, research, industry, development, and what we can do more in order to make this system a better system, a better ecosystem, innovation ecosystem. And the challenges we started to tackle, and we are still tackling, are about environment, technology, economy, and social inclusions. These are the main challenges. I will not give the details of those challenges for obvious reasons of time, but let me maybe repeat what was already said by our president, the president of MUSA. Three pillars of our vision. These are the three main pillars. The first pillar is about the aim of generating the mass of activities, innovations, to make Milan a European example of excellence. The second pillar of our vision is about the innovation ecosystem, and particularly the role of corporations and startups, their innovativeness and competitiveness, which sometimes is, challenged by the changes in the global context, in the global setting. The third pillar is about, again, this was already mentioned, so the question is, what can I say in addition to what has been already said, but let me just remind you that the experiment we are conducting about public-private collaboration has specificities that make the system, the experiment particularly challenging, but also interesting, and this could be transferred to other ecosystems. Research and innovation activities, this is a complex system of, say, innovation and research. So we organize according to the hub and spoke model. And you see here 6 different spokes that are the organizational units around which we organize our research and innovation activities. So in order to achieve the goals I mentioned before, so first spoke, the first research line is about urban regeneration, the city of tomorrow, and biodiversity, so nature-based solution tools, and nature ecosystem services are the main, the core of these activities. Renewable energy, circular economy, sustainable mobility, these are all topics at the core of this research line. The second research line is about data, open data in life sciences, and we have here the leader of this spoke, and so I will not take time to go into many details, but just to remind you that one of the core activities in this research line is the build-up of a new platform based on, say, 5G technology, cloud edge architecture, for the benefits of citizens, first of all, starting from life sciences to other, and also including other potential services for the community. The third line is about deep tech entrepreneurship and technology transfer, and here we have our colleague from Politecnico Milan, who is also the leader of this spoke, and here the issues are about new science-based startups. I mean, what we are building up is, say, technology transfer, broadly speaking, including the generation, acceleration, incubation and acceleration of new firms, science-based firms, joint labs, living labs, and matchmaking platforms. The fourth spoke is about the economic impact and sustainable finance, new indicators of economic impact, sustainable fintech and tech-fin solutions, and financial education. These are the main activities that we our colleagues are working on. The fifth spoke, and Andrea Senesi will also talk about this spoke, is about one of the flagship industries in our region, in our metropolitan area, and this is here the main, say, critical issues are about sustainability, circularity, how to make the say productive and distribution filiere of this industry more circular, more sustainable, by working on at different levels, new materials, organization, and generational processes. Finally, innovation for sustainable and inclusive societies is about clearly one of the main drawbacks of this of our area, which is not about science. It is not about growth, economic growth, which is, as we know, I mean, also from different previous previous speeches, clearly we do not suffer a lack of innovation, number of firms, new firms, innovative firms, patents, and so on. We suffer from inequalities, social exclusion, discrimination. We have these problems in growing up with the growth of the economic activities and technological activities. So we have to to take care of these issues, and one of the spokes of this project is about this issue. We will not have enough time to discuss these issues today, but this is clearly one of the most important issues for the impact of MUSA. Just a few ideas about say, some cross-spoke activities, just a few examples. One about the fashion and design industry. Again, here the point is how to make this industry more sustainable, and this implies a lot of public engagement, a lot of technology transfer, involvement of companies, large companies and also small companies. The second point is about the second activity around this festival Generazione, which is the festival of young generations, new generations. And this is an experiment about say, dialogue between the young generation, school students and citizens on one side and researchers on the other side. Other examples, but I'm running out of time, so very quickly, bio-waste reuse. Again, the topic is quite obvious. Use of how to transform waste in an opportunity, in something that can be recycled or upcycled, and so used in also other industries. And finally, human all for the artificial intelligence, the consequences, implications, and I would say also the antecedents of artificial intelligence. This is an important dimension, and one of the main points here is the development of a new tool to detect discriminatory language in the internet platforms and also in related settings. Let me conclude with a few words about what is the legacy of what we expect will be the legacy of MUSA. So 3 dimensions, 3 types of impact that we are generating. We have, say, concrete examples. Our colleagues will tell about some of those examples of how we are generating impact for the society. You see, I will not read all the, say, what you see in this, on this transparency, but you can easily see how we have generated, along with the collaboration of also the local public administration, like the municipality of Milan, like the region. We have started to elaborate new models, new services for the benefits, for the well-being and of the local citizens. Economic impact. The economic impact is based on the technologies, the technological solutions, the new business models that are created by as a result of these very complex set of activities. New living labs I mentioned before, but clearly Andrea Senesi will talk about this more in details. new living labs and joint labs. We have set up new joint labs with Eni, with Huawei, with Infineon and other Thales Alenia Space and other companies that are part of our say set of affiliates and partners. New services, so these are also generated out of the activities we are working on. For example, an example of a new service is the 3D project, geothermal project, which will allow the metropolitan area authority to base its decisions whether to grant an authorization for additional geothermal wells in the area based on data, not based on feelings, no, or gut feelings, but data. No? This is an important contribution to do. Just an example of what our contribution. Not to forget the generation of a new set, about 300 young researchers that will work. Part of them will work in the academia. The other, the remaining, quite a large number of those people will work in companies, the public administration, the third sector, and so on. Finally, environmental impact. The local energy production, sustainable mobility technologies and projects, the pilot project on urban biodiversity, the circular economy experiments, for instance, as I mentioned before, the materials recycling and upcycling, and finally, the, say, different innovations in the industrial processes and products in order to make those processes and products more circular, more sustainable. I will finish with this, and I will now lead the floor to my colleagues, starting from Vittorio Biondi, who is the program manager of MUSA. So, Vittorio, the floor is yours if you want to use the...
Thank you, Salvatore. Good morning to everybody. And my goal today is briefly describe the functioning of our ecosystem. And my speech will be complementary to the intervention of Salvatore, because we try to describe, I will try to describe how an ecosystem model works, can be developed. The model is simple. The concept comes from the biology, an ecosystem model, and it will scale at the regional and national level, starting from Milan. And Milan is considered as a multi-layered metropolitan city that in these last decades is undergoing significant transformation, and that challenges the future to become a European example of excellence. This is the model, and I will concentrate on the role and the functions of the hub in respect of all the other partners of the ecosystem. This is the let me say, classical model of quadruple helix model. It involves government, industry, academia, and the civil society, working together to co-create the future and drive structural change. I want to underline this concept because sometimes we talk about cooperation, sometimes we talk about collaboration, and I think that co-creation is something more and something more ambitious than the simple cooperation between all these actors. And some figures about the ecosystem, six spoke, as you mentioned before, more than 1,000 researchers, and 52% are women, young researchers, of course, and 24 partners divided between public and private partners, and around 150 research teams working in the different in the 4 promoting universities with all our private partners. The 48 is the number of papers published in this last 6 months. This number is dramatically growing in these last weeks, and I think that it will dramatically grow in the next weeks and months, because we are, as you can see, in the last 6 months of the project, and so we expected a strong increase of this figure. And 50,000 is the number of the visitors of our website per year. And we, at the very beginning of the project, we built a sort of information and dissemination system of the ecosystem that is strictly connected with the networks promoted by our partners. So it's a sort of ecosystem on itself, made also through the social networks that we normally adopt. These are the 4 promoting universities, but you have already heard about them in the other speeches. And these are our partner. You can see the 4 promoting university, and this 5th, that is Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. I don't remember if somebody mentioned the fact that in the last month we received the interest of the Università Cattolica to be part of the ecosystem, and now we can say that it has become a part of the hub, and I think it's very significant because, of course, it's an important university in Milan, and not only at a local level, but also national, international level, and I think that it's significant the willingness to participate in the ecosystem of this new member of our scientific community. Then we have the Regione Lombardia e Comune di Milano and Fondazione Carico, that are the public members of the ecosystem. And then I don't want to go in depth of each of these members, but you can see many of the most important, most relevant, most innovative companies of our country. And this is the split of the 6 spokes. And okay, this is I want to spend a couple of minutes on this specific initiative promoted by the hub, because this was not included in the original project, but it was born when we thought about the opportunity to give the occasion to all the researchers of the project to know each other, to meet in the same place at the same time for 1 all day, just exchanging information about what they are going to do, what they are doing, what they are studying. And this is the reason why we organize these 4 general meetings, one for each university, and 400-500 people for every meetings, participating in these meetings. And I think that it was a very important moment to make our scientific community stronger and why not larger than just the single research team working on the specific issue. And these are 2 examples already mentioned by Salvatore of what we mean when we talk about cooperation with the policymakers, in this case the Comune di Milano e Città Metropolitana, and why we think that working together is very important in the field of sustainability. This is the first example is about the new observatory on the geothermal resources that we launched 1 year ago, and that it's an initiative that is of great help for the Comune di Milano and for Città Metropolitana, the former provincia di Milano. It's a very useful instrument for taking good decisions in a short period. And I think that it's, and I do hope that it will be one of the initiatives born into the ecosystem that could be improved, developed in the near future. And this is the second example with the Comune di Milano. We work on their plan on circularity, and a mixed team made by researchers from Politecnico, from Università Statale, from Bocconi, from all the universities contribute to this. And I think that it's another important example of how it works. This is just to remember where we are, because we started in September 2022, and as you can see, we are here, and we have 6-7 months to complete our 27 milestones of the project. And as you can easily see, this is of course the most intense period of the project, because we have a lot of milestones that have to be completed and hopefully successfully completed by our research teams. And just I don't know how to call it, just a snapshot about our future. And we are, of course, beginning to think about the future of the ecosystem with all our partners, and trying to understand what's the value added of the project, and how can the ecosystem of MUSA contribute to the development of the research and of the to the activity of the 5 universities. I don't go in depth on them. I think that our colleagues will describe part of this program, but I think that we will be able, I hope we will be able in September or October to present a sort of plan or business plan for the future of our ecosystem to our board of directors and to our assembly of members. to discuss together where we want to go and how. This is what I would like to share with you, and of course we are here available to answer to any kind of question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vittorio. Maybe it doesn't work. This does not work. Thanks, Vittorio, for these important details about the organization of MUSA project. Now the floor is goes to Ernesto Damiani, spoke to and beyond.
Okay, thank you very much, and I will, of course, try to stay the times and at the same time give you an idea. So basically here the notion is that what is a muse? Is a goddess that inspires humans to do great deeds, right? So the notion here is that we don't want to inspire, we want to enable. And this is a different story, because the transformation means that we must deliver something that will do this enablement. So basically, in this particular case of the MUSA data, as we call it in Italian, basically what we are trying to do is to create this enabling platform, and an enabling platform that will transform also the urban texture where is installed and operates. So here you see there's a lot of stuff about what is the intelligent infrastructure of the smart city is doing, and tomorrow you will hear about that, so I don't want to go into the details. But certainly there are so many applications that require intelligence, distributed intelligence, and today inference of AI models that is going to be distributed around in the city, is going to be distributed in the companies. So what we want to do is the universities together with the companies, we wanted to enable this process of exchanging the data, collecting the data, and computing the inference of the models where the inference is needed. Okay, so I skip this. And also, we want to do it in a secure way. So why can't you just use the commercial, type of networks and environments? And the reason is that you cannot use them because some of the procedures are highly regulated. Things of the procedures that have to do with healthcare, things of the procedures that have to do with the citizens' well-being, the citizens' behavior, transportation, all those require to comply with regulations. So what we need to do is to guarantee, and the universities are there together with the companies to create an environment where this guarantee can be given to the final users, but also to the companies that want to use the infrastructure in order to do their own development plans. And there's an important role of 5G. So tomorrow you will hear about 5G. We have, the team is our partner in this initiative. The 5G network is the place where you can exchange the data in a secure, but even more than secure, with the right latency in order to be able to satisfy the needs of the applications with the minimal latency that is needed for example, telling someone what to do next. Okay, so let me skip this stuff. What are our goals inside our own spoke? Well, basically the notion is that we wanted to show that in infrastructure for the secure collection and the distributed inference of AI models is doable. And of course, we cannot do it at the scale of the entire country, but we can do it at the scale of Milan. So we want to have pilots that show that this can be done, and this is useful for companies all over an urban environment that gets transformed by the presence of the platform. We use an architecture like this. Basically, it means that we are enabling services that are inference of models to be computed where they are needed in the cloud, of course, in the cloud services, but also inside the network, the 5G network, thanks to the fact that the network is the computer, meaning that we can execute the software over the network itself. So this is our first test bed that we built at the beginning of the project together with Tim. And basically the notion here is that we have exactly this. We have the simulation of someone who wants to confer data, wants to get an answer based on the data, the input data, from a model that has been trained on other data that were were collected previously. And that one that you see down there is the Department of Computer Science at the University of Milan, where we had installed this first test bed. It was one of the first in Europe, not just in Italy, where we could actually show these applications working in the real environment and not in a simulation. Of course, it was a small one, just 2 cells. But now, this is what we are delivering. We are delivering something that is actually something at the scale of the urban environment, where the applications, the different applications that you'll see in a moment, because I still have a few minutes. So you will see in a moment the concrete applications that we piloted. These applications are executed at the urban scale. And so you see, I just wanted to put 2 of the pillars that are typical of our university. The new environment that you heard already this morning, the mind environment, is out there, outside the city center, this new innovation district. And the other one is the historical part of Città Studi, the place where our university has all the science. And these 2 places are integrated into our network, several cells where we can execute this type of applications. Which applications? So let me skip. This is an example. We have a lot of small installations of imaging centers where you do diagnostics for the people. In our case, the pilot is about prostate tumor, but it could be any other of those widely high societal impact type of illnesses. We enable the integration of this data for the training of global models and the use of the global model for quick diagnostic. All this is done by just collecting to the 5G network the imaging center like this. You don't need to do much else. And virtually, you are able to install any pipeline, any data pipeline that will be based on this. This one will be announced 25th of June. We will show the demo of this one. So at Mind, by the way. OK, I have others. I don't want to enter. Imagine risk models. So I still have 5 minutes. Risk models that are wide. Is risk model something for therapy? Well, no, it's even more something for planning healthcare. A risk model will tell me how many people will need a certain type of assistance at a certain moment in the future. This platform enables the large-scale computation of risk models for a number of things. This one that we did with AstraZeneca is one of the partners of the project. We did it for the risk of cardiac type of illnesses that are very common in the aging population that we share with Japan, by the way. So since we are here, I wanted to put this one. So let me just very quickly, we published a lot, yes. So this is one, and sorry, I'm doing a little bit, this is the book, because this infrastructure is certified. It must be certified, otherwise you wouldn't be able to run on it the type of applications in those type of verticals where there is a regulatory framework that must be, of course. And this, again, together with the companies, we were able to understand and to implement the type of certifications that are needed in order to run the application on our platform. OK, so I leave you with this, and the rest of the slides I will skip. But this is something that I give to my students. So just in case you are interested also in the teaching type of fallback that we have when we have a platform like this. This is about food security. And you have food security in the big cities is a very important problem. And the food security, it means that you don't want, for example, food to be exposed to temperatures that could spoil it, right? So here, imagine that you have the sensors, and that as you have the sensors that will tell you, sampling every 10 minutes, what is the list of the temperature to which a certain container has been exposed, while transporting it around in the town, across town. Can you have a model that will predict whether a certain container should be discarded immediately because it will never make it to the shelves with the right level of security? OK, this is the type of computation that we can do on our platform. At the moment, we don't do it. It's not one of the pilots. But it's something that we do with the students in order to teach them how to do it, and also to teach them that AI is not a magic wand. AI must be done in the right time frame for the decision to be useful to people. This is what we are trying to do with our infrastructure. And I thank you very much for listening. I think it's a good moment to stop the presentation.
Now the floor goes to Edoardo Crosci from Bocconi University, talking about Spoke One activities especially conducted by Bocconi University within this spoke.
Thank you. In fact, at Bocconi, we cooperate also with other spokes, and of course, there is a strong cooperation between Bocconi and other universities in Spoke One in different activities that have been already illustrated. Spoke One has a knowledge center, which is the Sustainable Urban Regeneration Lab at Bocconi University. This lab is already existed when MUSA started, and thanks to that we were able to transfer many knowledge to MUSA and had to have also a quick start. In particular, in Spoke One, but I would say more in general, the contribution of Bocconi to MUSA is mainly on innovative business models, the definition and application of innovative economic tools, and socioeconomic impact assessment. Talking about, in particular, about Spoke One, we think it's very important to measure the social value of urban regeneration. Urban regeneration consists of both tangible and intangible activities. This kind of assets and of services generate a social value. On the right column, you see the different social value consisting on health and well-being, accessibility, social inclusion, reduction in energy bills, environmental awareness, attractiveness, job creation, risk reduction. All these aspects should be considered altogether when we think about urban regeneration. And now going in the four main streams of Spoke One, very quickly one by one, with a few examples. Looking at sustainable energy and climate, for example, we can see that district heating generates many benefits in terms of energy, environment, and also final users. We are able to provide an economic valuation on these benefits. You find an example in the figure, where, for example, in this case, a reduction of CO2 emissions generate a very relevant economic benefit in this phase, also depending on the price of allowances, of emission allowances. I think it's important to specify, as I said, that this kind of research was already pre-existing at Bocconi, but thanks to MUSA, we had a big impulse in this kind of research, and in fact, this publication in particular, this comes from a publication, is pre-existing to MUSA, but we are now publishing again on this topic thanks to MUSA. Nature-based solutions is another important area generally relevant benefits which can be evaluated from the physical point of view. There is a huge literature saying that there are big benefits in terms of reduction of temperature. We know that this can be very significant in certain areas of a city. What we did is also to evaluate the value of different nature-based solutions, generating together different kind of ecosystem services. Bundling all these ecosystem services together, we can measure the total economic value of different nature-based solutions. Here I report only a few of them, and you can see that the value can go up to over 100 euros per tree per year overall, which is a very relevant amount. Of course, this depends on the different nature-based solutions. We see, for example, here green roofs, green walls, urban wetland, and urban parks, where urban parks in particular seem to generate the highest value. Circularity also can generate very significant benefits in terms of energy, built environment, and mobility. In particular, we can see here that one of the benefits of circularity, which is the reduction of CO2 emissions. The other main benefit of circularity is, of course, the reduction in the use of materials, so resource efficiency, actually. Resource efficiency and CO2 emission reductions are the two main benefits in circularity, which can be measured in economic terms. And in particular, looking at energy, built environment, and mobility, we have significant advantages also looking at Scope 2 and Scope 3 emissions, which means indirect emissions where circularity is relevant. Now, after this brief description of some of the scientific results also published in papers in MUSA regarding these main areas of activity, energy, nature-based solutions, circularity, skilled mobility, but we are also working on that. I dedicate a few minutes, very short time, to some concrete tools that we developed in MUSA, and which are also heritage of MUSA, we hope. The first one is an atlas. This is a repository of best practices of urban regeneration worldwide. Actually, we define this as best practices because of the capacity to generate social value. So we are still filling in this atlas. Up to now, there are about 50 cases, and we are coming now to 100, collecting them worldwide, also in cooperation with the UN agency, UN Habitat, which is the agency responsible of cities for United Nations. So actually, this atlas is accessible from both the Bocconi and MUSA website, but also from the UN Habitat website. Another concrete tool is an urban regeneration impact assessment tool. We have decided to call it ESG Urban Track. This tool is web-based, and we just launched it. So now we are testing basically it with different cases. We defined several indicators at different levels, which can be used in different phases of urban regeneration, planning, implementation, operations, and end of life. You can use it both ex ante and ex post, and providing a score on different aspects on ESG criteria. We are also developing this tool looking at the process of urban regeneration. We think that this is a concrete tool that also companies can use, and also policymakers, both companies and policymakers. It's quite interesting. This is the topic basically of this round table to look at the relevance of impacts and spillovers generated by university for the community and the territory. And this is something that we finished the paper and will research, and we hope it will be soon published. It's about impacts and spillovers generated by the presence of university campuses in cities, considering over 100 cases through a literature review, where we can see that there is a particular benefit for environmental aspects, but also for social and economic aspects. There are also some negative externalities generated by university, in particular in social aspects, but overall you see that benefits are much larger than negative aspects. We are going on also measuring actually this in Milan with willingness to pay assessment with surveys that we are performing in next days around the different campuses, also to evaluate what kind of environmental, economic and social benefits have more value for our communities. And finally, the last two slides, our Vice Rector Saito already presented our campus in Milan and how sustainable it is. In particular, this year, it will be fully carbon neutral, at least for Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, but also in sustainable energy, nature-based solutions and mobility. Our campus made a big advancement and big impact. Moreover, I would just want to mention that Bocconi, as other universities, also signed the Climate City contract of the Milan municipality, so we are all also contributing to the decarbonization of Milan with our activities, and this is another important point. And lastly, as I said, benefits are not just in the campus perimeter, but benefits generated by universities beyond, of course, human capital. This was presented since the beginning. I'm now speaking about, let's say, physical benefits, material benefits, which are also relevant. We are not the main mission of universities, but now are becoming a side benefit with absolute relevance. In the case of Bocconi, also thanks to our iconic buildings, which improved the landscape of the area and the services that the community can enjoy, we can say that the campus is not just for the Bocconi community, and also with our plans to year 2030, there will be new advancement in our regeneration, but also around the university, not just because of the will of the university, but also private operators of a public administration. There are significant urban regeneration improvements. Some are part of the next Olympic Games, because we are next to the Olympic Village, where there will be the conversion in student housing, but also other kinds of indirect benefits that are generated by the Bocconi campus and in general are generated by universities as spillovers on communities in territory. So thank you.
Thank you, Edoardo. You also for the timely presentation. And now, last but not least, Andrea Senesi from Politecnico Milano will tell us about Spoke 3 and 5 activities.
Okay, I have billions of slides, but I'm the last speaker, so I don't want you to kill me before tonight. And I will just have a quick look about what we have done and we are still doing in Spoke 3 and Spoke 5 that are, let me say, two particular spokes. One, because Spoke 3 is, by its nature, a transversal spoke that aims also at collecting ideas coming from the other spokes. And finally, because Spoke 5 is a Milano-specific spoke. And these are two spokes where I think we succeed in realizing a very good set of relationships with the institution, mostly Lombardy region and the municipality of Milan. In Spoke 3, let me point out only a couple of things. One is the budget that is not negligible, so we got a great amount of money to do this. And in the last row, keep in mind the 4.8 millions of open calls, because I will come back later on this number. We have partners, not only the universities, but also several companies that have been engaged in a pretty effective way, especially in developing the labs or in developing exploitation events. And this is, let me say, the picture that summarizes what the Spoke 3 is. We have a mission that is to collect all the ideas that are generated in the various spokes, not only in the Spoke 3, and to bring them, let me say, to the market. So to transform the idea in a company that is impacting with its ideas on the market. And basically, we are doing this by funding applied research projects. Obviously, these projects were projects that started years before the start of MUSA, because otherwise 3 years is a too short time frame to transform an idea into a company. And we have collected a huge number of ideas because, honestly, the top 3 technical and scientific universities are in Milano, and so it has been an easy job to collect a lot of ideas. We have supported, thanks to the funding, and thanks also to the labs, and also thanks to other infrastructure that I'm going to explain quickly, in the increase of their technological readiness level. And finally, we provided to them a lot of services of incubation and acceleration. The result, absolutely one of the legacy of MUSA, is an increase in the know-how and the capability on doing this kind of incubation, acceleration, and TRL increase, with a positive effect in terms of services to the companies, venture building services, entrepreneurships, teaching material that have been developed, and so on. I go very quickly on this. These are some examples of the Living Lab. I have no time to describe all the ideas that have been collected because there are too many, but also only having a look at the Living Lab, you can have an idea of the wide spectrum of these ideas. So we range from the upper right, the lower right, that is the food lab, and it's something that has been, we have launched, finally we have set it up and we have launched a couple of months ago. Then we have a bioengineering lab, we have a textile products lab, and then we have a very complex lab that is also the most expensive, that is dedicated to the characterization of different surfaces. That's a starting point to understand if a given product, maybe a car battery, can or cannot be recycled, or can easily or with difficulty be recycled. Then we have developed a lot of startup programs, and I will just very quickly scroll, but have a look at these numbers. For Startup Lombardia, that is a flagship program of Lombardy region, that has been managed by the collaboration of the 4 universities. We have collected in 2024 114 ideas. In incubator that is developed with the Chamber of Commerce of Milano, we have collected 153. In a switch to product, that is the historical competition of the Politecnico di Milano, we have collected 178. In Bicocca Unicrowd project, 26 projects have been supported. The total number is around 500. In 1 year, we have collected 500 of new ideas, and we are supporting them to become companies. Obviously, we are not generating 500 companies, but if we look at the statistics of the past, a number that range from 5 to 25. 5 to 25 new startups, new living startups in Milano is something that is not negligible. And so we are very proud of the achievements of this spoke. Then we have the Spoke 5. Spoke 5, as I said before, is country specific, is a city specific, because Milano is undoubtedly the capital of the fashion and the design. And we have developed a a very great set of activities related to these three pillars. One is innovation, the second is collaboration, and finally, the final goal is a dissemination of what we have done. I will focus only on a couple of them. One is the framework of KPI for measuring the circularity performance of the city of Milano. Obviously, this has been developed together with the municipality of Milano, and it's very, I think, very practical system, because at the end we developed a tool where we start collecting data in the industry of obviously design, fashion, not and luxury, not on any kind of industrial activities that are carried out in Milano. Verticals related to design, production, so the operational activities, and horizontal that are related, for example, to the logistics. We have collected around 150 KPIs, so we have measured, starting from the data, obviously, a cockpit with 150 KPIs is something that it's impossible to read. No? So we have collapsed them into one KPI. Maybe could have been better to stay in the middle, but at the end, the municipality of Milano asked, well, we want one number, okay. So we did a great job of aggregation. Now this has been already delivered with the municipality. I cannot disclose the number, obviously, but we are fine-tuning this job. The second one, the second activities is and this is let me say strongly connected with Spoke 3. For example, we have assessed ideas to how to recycle product life like the shoes, and how to transform them into design products, for example, or how to move dalla modal design, so from textile waste to design pieces. This is, by the way, is the content of the Living Lab that we have developed. And so the idea that the citizen can bring some wasted textile product and check if it's possible to transform, to recycle, or to reuse it somewhere else. This is for the final, let me scroll. With Milano, we have developed this platform, finally, that is a platform where we collect basically all the information about the KPI that we are going to assess, and we are going to develop, to open this platform also to external companies in order to add more and more data to this set. In terms of education, obviously, we are doing, being universities, we are doing a lot of activities. Honestly, in this case, the role of MUSA has been to help us in boosting what we already were doing. And at the end, we are developing a web app, no? And also with a mobile release to do and to access to all the multimedia content that we developed inside MUSA.
Thank you, Andrea. So we, you especially, you have been very, very good at keeping your presentation in time. So we have time for questions. If you don't have questions, we have questions for you. So please consider this opportunity or threat, depends on what you see, how you see But before then, let me remind that tomorrow we will have 4 panels. So some of the points that have been discussed today will be discussed from different perspectives, including the perspective of our partners, important partners, or other actors, players with whom we collaborate. So think of companies like Bridgestone, think of universities like the Technology University of Tokyo, and other participants, other speakers in the 4 panels. So, however, even though the story is not over, so tomorrow we will have other opportunities to discuss, to go deeper in some details and from different perspectives, so we will learn more. So please, if you don't have questions, the question for you is, what do you think should be the most important KPIs to measure the potential impact of MUSA from a societal, economic and technological perspective? What is your idea? What are your suggestions? Maybe even simple ideas could be helpful to us. I'm talking for my colleagues, but I do believe that this is a very important issue. All of us mentioned the importance of the legacy, MUSA legacy. But how, from your perspective, some of you actually are involved in different spokes, different activities, MUSA activities. So you are not external observers, but even though you are internal observers, it could be good just to spend a few minutes, 10 minutes, no more than that, today, this evening, to discuss what you think should be the focus of our, effort to guarantee a substantial, tangible impact of our activities. All the activities you have, that were presented today, and also what you will see tomorrow. But maybe you have ideas, no? We gave you some ideas, no? But maybe you have more interesting ideas, because maybe you see this topic from a different perspective. Yeah, too involved. So since we are all, or most of us are, heavily involved in the MUSA activities, maybe we are not enough, external observers to provide, additional views to what we already presented today. And so, if you don't have any question or comments to make, I thank you very much for being here, for participating in this session, and we will see tomorrow. Good evening.